to determine if we're legal.
Mary Esposito.
Here.
Amy Owens. Present. Veronica Cortez.
Present.
Heidi Soper.
Hi, I'm here.
And I believe the remaining members are absent, but you do have a quorum.
Okay, cool. Very good. Veronica, would you lead us in the pledge?
Absolutely. Everybody please stand. Your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you.
Okay. I can get out, huh?
That's right.
Yes, I should find it.
Next on the agenda are public comments, and we have a lot. Whoops.
Yay.
Well, I don't have an agenda from you.
Well, what has two of them?
Oh, thanks. This is my other one. Thank you. I forgot we have a microphone. We have a whole boatload of general comments. Carol, would you like to speak?
Can I be last?
Okay, then we have Trista Gomez.
Oh, you want me to come up there?
Yeah.
All right. Trista, there's an extra mic right there. Oh, okay. I can grab this one.
Hey guys, I am Trista Gomez. I am going to be running in the next election for the commissioner seat against Mary Liz Garcia. Why am I doing that? Well, I've lived here my whole life. I've lived Sparks, Spanish Springs my whole life, so I've never lived here, but I went to school with some of your kids, I can guarantee it, because I went to Sparks High School. And you know, we are dealing with a lot of issues, you know, in valleys in general. Development, lack of resources. You guys are really feeling the lack of resources, but you know, I feel for you. And you know, some of these things we need to be proactive in really figuring those things out before they become the problem that they are now. And so, you know, and they're just it's an ongoing, you know, hierarchy of issues that the residents are dealing with on an overarching basis over and over again. So the election is not gonna be, you know, it's not for another year and a half or so, but you'll see me around often. And you know, I'm just a resident, right? I'm just a family, I'm a fourth generation person. I am loyal to residents. I care for residents. And, you know, not to say that everybody doesn't, but we also need to be proactive in recognizing and addressing the needs of the residents. And so I'm watching your grocery store, you know, your grocery stores, I'm watching your bank situations, you know, I'm watching the traffic, I'm watching Highland Ranch, we're heavily affected by Highland Ranch Parkway also. And so these are things that I know that affect all of us as a community, and you guys are really feeling some impacts of these specifically. And so that's why I am here. I'm everywhere, I'm a realtor also, so my number is everywhere. If you want to ever call me or get a hold of me, my number's everywhere. I'll call you back. It's just my own personal number. I'm happy to talk to you. I'm happy to come and chat with your friends. And so I wanted to introduce myself, and that's really all I have to say. And I'll let this next person speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Daniel. Oh, okay. Did you fill out a form? No. Okay, go ahead. Come on
Okay,
up.
I was here last month. And we have some squatters on my street. They literally live there.
Can you say your name?
You need to say your
And-
name.
You need to say your name.
They don't have a bathroom.
What is
You
your
need to
name?
say your
Robin.
name.
Robin Patrick. They don't have a bathroom. They have 11 cars. 3 of them are crammed full of garbage. They throw garbage all over the street. I see rodents out there because there's garbage all over. They drive 2 cars that have no plates, and if I drive my car, I'll get a ticket.
Where are they, Robin?
Slope Drive, the next street up. You can practically see them from here. And they had last time the policeman went and tagged 2 of the cars, said they'd be picked up at 72. They're still there and it's way over 72 hours. And like I said, they have no bathrooms. Trash all over the street. I had to buy cameras for my house at my expense and I'm not rich, okay? It wasn't cheap. They go into your yard and they steal. They stole from my neighbors, they stole from me. And they keep saying it's a private road, there's nothing we can do about it. They throw their trash all over. So can I just, instead of have waste management come, can I just throw my trash out there and not pay like they do? Cause it's a private road? I don't understand the logic. It just,
Have you called the sheriff?
yes, my neighbor and me, we called and they've been in 2 different places before by us and gotten kicked out. And why they won't, I don't know. They keep saying it's a private road and there's nothing they can do about it. So the garbage is horrible. You want garbage all over by your house? No.
Mike, do you know where this is? Because last time I drove past where they said it was and I didn't see it.
It's right behind your slope. This is Sun Valley.
Right.
The next street up is slope. You turn left right there and you can't, it's a dirt road. You can't miss it.
The dirt part of slope.
They have 11 cars out
Oh,
there
okay.
that don't work. 2 of them do work. They have no plates on their cars. They drive them all over the place. And the way, I mean, I can't say they're drug dealers, but cars stop there for 3 minutes all the time and then take off. So they're doing something.
I would keep calling the sheriff.
Can I ask a question?
You guys,
have-
this is public comment, so she needs to finish her comment, and then we can move on to the next comment.
I can't hear you. I'm deaf.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was just saying to finish your comment, and then we can move on to the next comments.
Robbie?
I don't know. I don't like the idea of having garbage all over, you know, out on the street in those cars. It's just packed in those cars. You can see it. And like I said, I see rodents out there. I don't like rats. You want rats at your house? No. The way I look at it, nobody cares because it's not in front of their house. It's a disgrace to have to live like that.
She wants to invest.
Can I make a comment to her comment? Sure. Okay, we have the same problem on Fifth, okay, we called code enforcement, health department. Okay, the property owner was out of state. They couldn't do anything until the property owner came in and trespassed. Then the sheriff came in and got rid of 7 or 8 trailers. But there's a process you have to go through.
We gave the
sheriff-
sheriff the name of the guy that owns that stupid little street.
Okay, well, code enforcement has to get involved, so does health department. The health department cited the property owner on Fifth. And code enforcement was there taking pictures. Like I said, the property owner has to trespass these people.
Now, I'm an old lady and I live
I
by
get it,
myself.
I get
My
it.
husband's dead.
Again,
And I'm
there's a
sort of
process.
afraid of them. They'd never come out and hurt me. You know, they
There's a
wait for me.
process.
Yeah. But having to live around all that trash, it's not good.
Robin, thank you for letting us know about that. It'll get passed on to the correct people, correct, Alexa? Alexandra? I'm going Alexa on my piano.
Comment on the comment?
Not normally,
Oh,
but I will call on you for your comments and then you could.
just remind me
Okay.
to comment on that.
Okay, Mike, did you want to talk? No. Okay,
Let's hold the microphone.
She just holding the microphone.
Ms. Westlake, do you want to go next?
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Hi, everyone, Colleen Westlake. I am the school board trustee for all of you, for all of Sun Valley District B, East Sparks and Sun Valley. And my comment was going to be to you, and I believe it was Assembly Person Heather Golding worked on a bill where now you can call and they'll haul cars off and ticket them on the yard. Used to be they'd have to ticket them at the site. And I believe it passed where they will take them to the yard and then 2 weeks, then they go for scrap. So I would look into that. I hope I'm quoting that properly, but I think because it was becoming a problem for people to keep their streets clear and all of that. And it seemed like the process was very long to get those abandoned vehicles moved. So look into that. It was Heather Golding was on that bill and another assembly person. The trash, I know, I also, Heather called other officials out to clean up neighborhoods in Sun Valley. And I came out, my area was one of my schools, Virginia Palmer, and, or not Virginia Palmer. It was another school. Anyhow, here, Esther Bennett, thank you. Esther Bennett, and I was there with other officials and with other concerned citizens. And we cleaned up around Esther Bennett and the neighborhoods, and I know there were other neighborhoods being cleaned up at the same time. I'm running again for my seat. I feel like I am a strong advocate, especially for Sun Valley, because I know it's not represented all the time with strong advocacy and a strong voice. And I haven't been here in a couple of years, but I do represent my Sun Valley schools and community. I read in Sun Valley Elementary School to kindergartners at least once a month. And we were having some trouble going over Highland Ranch Parkway. I have concerned citizens that lived off of Midnight, and they were concerned for their kiddos that were walking up and having to cross and get to Desert Skies. And it was out of my purview, but I am not afraid to reach out and extend my hand to other agencies. And I reached out to City of Reno, and they were able to put a sign up coming the other way because it's a blind turn. And they put a sign up saying pedestrians crossing before you got to that. Oh, what happened? That was weird. Before you got to that turn. So I hope I can get your vote, and I'll be here for questions. Thank you. Thank you. Did you want it back?
All right, thank you very much. Daniel.
I just come to the meeting to see what's all going on.
Welcome. Thank you for coming, Veronica.
All right, Ms. Rodriguez. What's your vote?
I'm coming up.
Good evening, everyone. How is everyone this evening? Good? Well, they only gave me 3 minutes, so. Hopefully if you get time, cut me in, because I can talk forever. Yeah, I'm gonna cut her off the screen. Can you hear me? You can hear me, okay, sorry. I just probably need to keep it closer to my mouth. So everyone, you can call me Hedda. I currently work for Great Basin Federal Credit Union. And I'm here to talk about the banking services that we can offer. So basically, it's been brought to my attention through Veronica and Heidi that you guys lost your official bank building in Sun Valley. And so Great Basin Federal Credit Union has been around since 1951, and we offer everything that a bank offers. And so I want to leave some reading material about our credit union. We can offer financial education, workshops. I can come to your senior community and do workshops on financial education. We can come to the schools and teach financial education. We have branches about 5 miles out. There's a branch in North Valleys, 5 miles right behind Rayleigh's near the veterinary. And then there is a branch in Spanish Springs in between Los Altos and in between McDonald's and Slim Chicken. So we are about 5 miles out each way, whether that's through North Valleys or Spanish Springs. I know we're not in Sun Valley, and I don't want to be like the bearer of bad news, but we won't be able to like open a branch here, but I can definitely come and
sit in community rooms and provide banking services, open accounts, do financial education, do one-on-one coaching, come into the schools and do financial education that way. We have an investments person he can come and talk to whoever needs assistance that way. And so I'll go ahead and leave my information on the back table. And then just a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Sun Valley. My parents still live in Sun Valley. They live off of 7th and Klondike for 42 years. I haven't been in Sun Valley for like the past 10 years, but I'm in Sun Valley 2 to 3 times a week, visiting my in-laws, visiting my parents. So I am familiar with the Wells Fargo Bank and the grocery stores and how important that is. And I'm sorry that that happened. That's frustrating. And I know transportation is hard and trying to get to those areas. So, you know, please keep my information. If there's something you guys want the credit union to come out and do in Sun Valley, we can most definitely do that. So is that my buzzer? Oh, cool.
You did good.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, and just so everybody remembers, Ms. Rodriguez and Ms. Westlake will stay after the meeting is over if anybody has questions. Okay, Carol, you're up.
Your turn.
Carol Burns for the record. The last couple of meetings that we've had, I've been talking about the road department. And I don't know if you've all noticed, we finally got the street sweeper to come through. I called in June and they came about a week or so ago. I don't know if they still just have one person doing it for all the county or if they've broken down and hired someone new. But we still need to find out when they're going to clean our parkways. This is county property and it's up to the county to keep it clean from trash. And we also need to get someone back on Sun Valley Boulevard. It's accumulating trash as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Carol. Did I get everybody? I think I did. All right, we'll move on to the next, approval of the minutes for the meeting of September 2nd. We don't have them here. Did anybody read them online?
If it's not dropped off at the pizza place, I'll look at it. Sorry.
Okay, then we need to make a motion to approve these minutes at our next meeting.
I'll make a motion.
All right, it's been approved and the motion's been approved and seconded. We need to vote. Everybody in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Cool, that was fast. All right, we've got public safety updates next, and our sheriff is here.
Yay. Come on, Sheriff.
All right. Hello, Sun Valley Cabinet. Sorry I didn't make it last month, so I'll introduce myself again for those who don't know. My name is Lieutenant Nick Tone. Is that better, Carol?
Yeah.
Perfect. Want to make sure everybody can hear me. My name is Lieutenant Nick Tone, Washoe County Sheriff's Office. Didn't make it last month. I was here a couple months ago. You'll be seeing a lot more of me. I'm in charge of all the cabs now. And this one does fall on my side of the week, so I'll be here for all the updates and any questions we have related to Sheriff's Office business. I was hoping that our third quarter stats would have been posted and published. They were not yet, so hopefully I'll get those to you guys next month. That happenings around the valley and a couple other places, so I can answer some questions on that. One announcement specific to Sun Valley. We had a homicide a few months back up on Chimney. Our detective division just made an arrest of 2 individuals on that case. That has been cleared and they're in custody right now. So we're very, very happy. Couple of community events coming up. I wanted to make everybody aware of. Make sure I find the right one here. Thought it'd be easier to take notes on my phone, but I guess not. We have a community resource fair coming up on October 18th. That's gonna be at the Reno Town Mall. If you guys have any kids, they're encouraged to wear costumes, there'll be candy and all kinds of little events for them. Bunch of community resources will be available from our various teams. Community services, resources available. We'll be able to talk to some of our various groups. If there's any questions about homeless resources, if there's any homeless camps that you want to ask on, talk about what's available. Our home team will be available as well. We will have. Sorry, one more. And are many of you familiar with our CERT team? CERT. Perfect. We do have an academy coming up for anybody that's interested. It's going to be from October 9th through the 18th. For all the information, you can go to washoesheriff.com/CERT. However, for those that don't know, CERT stands for it's a Citizens Auxiliary Reserve Team. What they do, if you guys, last time you went to the Sun Valley picnic, you saw the CERT table, they did first aid, they did child ID, they do a whole bunch of our ancillary projects. You'll see basic first aid stations, light search and rescue. There's something for everybody to help out. There's about 300 members strong right now. We use them up in Incline Village, Sun Valley, North Valley's, any community events we have. We need a rodeo, hot air balloon races. Totally volunteer, but it's a really good academy. It's a good way to get out in the community and offer support and help out with these community events that we run. And I believe, and we also have a joining forces grant that got approved today. That was just posted earlier, $63,000 from the state. So we'll be able to increase some of our traffic enforcement. I know that the area highway project just finished part 1 or 2 of 6, something like that. And I know that that has pushed a lot of traffic through the valley. So unfortunately, I can't come and say that there's an end to that in sight, but manage it the best we can. And hopefully that will help us get a little bit more staff and to make our roads a little bit safer with all this morning and afternoon. Finding a lot of traffic that comes to the valley boulevard. Perfect. Absolutely.
I have a question. Heidi Soper. We've not been getting our names. I think that's my name. I was on Leon and 7th Street. They have a stop sign that we need.
Is it one of the speed ones or the flashing ones?
It's a flashing one. And it has a sign underneath it where it says cross traffic does not stop. We need those desperately on Side Hill and 4th.
So I feel, excuse me, I'm taking notes. So 2 things we can do, and this is good for everybody in the community. If you have any identified issues out on the roadways, be it you feel there's a strong need for speed bumps, those chicanes going through, or stop signs or speed signs or anything of that nature, there's a couple ways to go about it. First one is you can send a traffic complaint through to our sergeant, which will end up on my desk, and I can have my deputies on my shift go take care of it as long as the other watch commanders. But what that does in a bigger picture is it allows us to start tracking data. And we can start tracking data for stops. We can start watching those. Then that gets sent over to the traffic engineer. Then we can go to the traffic engineer and they can look at all the data that we pull, stops, pedestrian counts, everything of that nature. And then we can actually look at getting some money put via grants or whatever else to getting those additional things set up. And we're most recently, that was an effective way of getting it done. It is, for those familiar with Incline Village, there's a road called Country Club that is steep and people go extremely fast, regardless of enforcement. We leave, they do it again. The citizens on Country Club were able to make their complaints. We were able to get the data, and the traffic engineer came in, and I think they have, don't quote me on it, but I think it's 4 signs now that say the speed that they're going, as well as flashing signs, and we have another safe crosswalk a little bit further down. So the community getting involved and putting that out there, putting that data, the citizen complaints, we use that data to track areas of need. So if you guys can go online, you can put that out there. That's something that we can use to try to get the resources put in.
Because these stop signs don't mean anything.
I hear you.
They just go right through. In fact, one person was so stupid. I'm going south just about to Side Hill on 4th Street, and the sheriff is coming. Well, no, I don't know, I was going down, and the sheriff was coming the other way. And a guy ran the stop sign and just about hit me right in front of the sheriff. Really?
I hear ya.
And we just had an accident too.
Did the sheriff stop him after?
Yeah.
Okay. just
I
wanted to make
assume
sure,
so,
because
but then after.
I've seen a lot of times they don't.
Yeah.
It's right there.
So that would be wonderful in that area, and I'm sure a million others.
We just had another wreck over on
Okay.
somebody running a stop sign on Pearl and East Sixth. That is the 9th wreck that has happened there since I've lived there. Can it be painted on the pavement so that they actually say they can't see it?
The best way to do that is send, same thing through your phone or internet, send that to 311. Because roads are responsible for going in and painting all the roadways, and if it's getting tattered, worn out, and it needs to be redone, or if the signs need to be replaced, that's something too. I mean, sometimes we just need cleanup foliage.
It's like they don't see it.
Yeah, and it's 311 is not the ones that are responsible, painted,
Of course.
maintaining the intersections.
Okay, what's your name for the
It's
record?
no.
Your name?
Oh, Kay Dyer. Sorry.
I have a question, Veronica Cortez, yes, so about the 311, so if somebody calls 311, are they connected to you, or do they just tell us, hey, you gotta contact the sheriff, and then we have to contact you after? Is there a way that you're connected with them so you get the report from them?
There are, so they take it as a citizen complaint is the right word for 311, a citizen concern, if you will.
Okay.
But they come on, and then whatever the complaint is, the human on the other end of 311 determines if it's a sheriff's office issue, if the roads issue, whoever else, and they will route it to us, and then I get that right in my email.
Okay,
Okay.
because we're telling everybody 311.
Yep.
But then what happens, right?
There's a handful of ways to get hold of me,
Cool.
that's one.
Second question. With this new funding, are we getting the parking garage at the sheriff's office yet? Because I heard that was in the works for a few years.
I wish I had an answer for you, there's a lot of capital projects that are, they're
It's so hard to get into the sheriff's department, like there is no parking and we would love that garage for people that have family up there. So I just thought maybe you'd have an answer, maybe it's on the book somewhere, you don't know?
Unfortunately, that one, I would love it too. I got a park there every day. Understand.
Hey, we all feel it.
Sean?
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean McGrath for the record. Last month, we had a gentleman here, he was voicing a concern, about filing a noise complaint. It was very difficult for him to come forward to even file the complaint, and then once he did, the sheriff did come out and tell them to turn down their music, but they turned, as soon as the sheriff left, they of course turned the music right back up.
Sure.
And he was reluctant to call the first time, so he didn't call back a second time. Is there a way the policy could be, if there's a noise complaint, you guys can circle back around in another 15 to 30 minutes just to double check?
Well,
Make sure.
two parts to that question. The first part, or excuse me, two answers to that question. The first is what we're allowed to do by law. So a noise complaint is a misdemeanor offense, and being it's not committed in our presence, and even if it is, my peace cannot be disturbed by law. Doesn't matter what they're doing, I cannot be the complainant by the way NRS is written. So when you call in, or whomever called in and wants to make a noise complaint, they have to be willing to issue a citation. And if they're willing to do that, then we'll come out and we will facilitate that. We'll go over there, and when we get out there, you very well may say, hey, they turn it down, we'll call it good. Okay, that's fine. But we cannot issue a citation alone. The complainant has to issue it, and we will go over and issue it as well. Now, in terms of circling back around, yes, with the caveat, it depends what else is going on. Because with our current staffing, and just staffing for the last 30 years, there's just not enough of us. Most people, when I ask cabs, when we ask how many patrol cars people think we have out on the road, you're off by a lot. We have, depending on the week, you may have anywhere from 10 to 12 cars in the entire county from Washoe Valley to the border. So it just depends, and most of them are in the populated areas, of course. We don't have a whole lot of people up in Bayou, Nevada, so there's 12 people that live up there. But nonetheless, that's how those will happen. And you can always call the non-emergency line, and if it starts back up again, it happens. And then we can take care of it then we can issue a citation. And yes, as long as there isn't some serious critical incident going on, we have to come back. not a problem at all.
Thank you.
Cindy Leslie for the record, two questions to go on that, what is the time, appropriate time to call for the noise disturbances at 11?
So being we're the county, this is where it's a point of confusion, depending on where you go. City of Reno has time limits. We do not. Your peace can be disturbed at any time with certain exceptions. Construction noise does not count. Somebody who's running a business, if your house is close to a tire shop and the whirring is frustrating, that doesn't count. Things of that nature. But your peace can be disturbed at any time. Somebody rocking music and making a ton of noise at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's valid. It's entirely on when you decide your peace has been disturbed. And then you issue the citation as a citizen. That's for you to put into there, and we'll take our report, and we won't make you go hand them the citation. We'll take it and then we'll go over and take care of that.
Is Washoe County still taking over the boulevard out of NHP's jurisdiction or?
Not that I've heard.
Still gonna be NHP?
It's still gonna be NHP up to, as of right now, I believe 7th.
Right.
Right around there. And you will still see us out there. We still do traffic enforcement, but in the event of a fact, it belongs to NHP. So you'll see us pull people over all the time on the radar, and if there's danger class, and more than likely be the first to show up. But that just comes down to who actually takes the report itself, and that'll be NHP.
Anybody else?
Sure.
Mike Refke for the record. About a month ago, maybe more, they had some damage done at the BMX track. Have you had any luck catching the people that had their motorcycles out on it?
And I follow up, I'm not 100% sure, because we've had the same issues at South Valley's Regional and North Valley's. Their bikes and e-bikes are a hot topic across the county right now. So specific to the BMX track, I have to follow up and get back to you.
Okay.
Sorry, one more question, Cortez again. I was reading about these new electrical bikes that if they're over a certain wattage or something, they have to be registered and kids can't take them to school. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, I came from Incline Village after 6 years, I know all about it.
How is
So-
e-bikes?
E-bikes, I don't have the wattage off the top of my head, but there's 3 classes of bikes. And the approach that we've taken is, in my opinion, the appropriate one, where there needs to be a certain amount of education on the parents. We're telling parents not to go buy their kids e-bikes that can go 45 miles an hour. Because kids don't know traffic laws. When you're 12, they have no idea what they're doing out on the road. And that's often the cause of a lot of the crashes that we see. Now, the e-bikes that are pedal assist are basically a bicycle with a little bit of help. That's a class 1 or 2. When they become a problem is when they're slightly higher wattage and they have a throttle. That makes it basically a motorcycle. So if you guys saw our press release a couple weeks ago, which I believe again was out of Incline Village, a juvenile, 14 or 15, I think, crashed into the side of the car, ran, we went and found him, handled that. And his bike, his parents bought him, was a throttled electric motorcycle. It was not an e-bike. That bike is capable of going almost freeway speeds. So there's a big difference on what you can buy out there. If you ever wander through Shields, you'll see a huge range of bikes. Our bikes that we have for the sheriff's office, for our e-bike team, are faster ones. But again, pedal assist, and you have to follow the rules of the road. So that being said, and aside, if you see any reckless e-bike riders, that is something we'll come out with a really big education right now, or these e-bikes. Let us come out, let us make those contacts with the parents, and let us get that education out there. Because unfortunately around the country, we've had a lot of juvenile fatalities related to these, and that's something we want to avoid, no matter what. So let's come out there and do that education, try to slow them down, try to actually solve this, because it is a very hot topic, not just here, it's around the entire country right now. These are very new toys, and unfortunately, they're treated as.
And with the traffic, we have more and more, and
Yes.
every day, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Kate Acker. We're going over it. How about helmets for anybody under 18?
I believe the NRS, I don't remember off the top of my head, but motorcycle helmets are required, bicycles. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I don't want to give you wrong information.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd have to look, and I don't think it delineates an NRS, but the reason I say I don't know is I'd have to look at Washoe County.
CCs before they have to out.
Yes, well, it's classified as
But
electric
we
motorcycle. guys.
should have them, should make that in a.
And well, to answer that part, if it does have a throttle and it's classified as an electric motorcycle, then yes, and it has to be registered, and you should have a license to be driving that on the roadway as well.
Mark them out for the record. I was just gonna ask something similar to that. Are they, for electric bike, do you have to have a driver's license?
Again, depends on the CCs and the wattage. If they're high CCs, much like you see the scooters, I think scooters are if they're below 50, you don't need to have a license. If they're above 50, that'd be registered. Similar to the e-bikes, if they're above a certain wattage, then you go certain speeds, and you have to have a driver's license to have them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Very interesting.
Great, thank you. Certainly.
All right, next we have a very nice lady named Gail from the Red Cross, who's gonna educate us on go bags for emergencies.
All right, so you're gonna put the slide in, please. All right, well, I brought my go bag. Gail. Hello, can you hear me? All right, so I've been Red Cross volunteer for 20 years. I do a lot of things for the Red Cross. One is I go out and do preparedness stuff. And so we'd much rather come see you now than at 2 o'clock in the morning when you had a fire or whatever else. So a to-go bag is something that you want to have when there is, you have to evacuate quickly, okay? It's not something that you're stuck in your house for a while. You can use it, but it means you're ready to go. When we have wildland fires, you need to go. There is some flooding in some places around here. You might have to just leave, okay? So she's gonna put my thing on here. I'll kind of show you some of the things I have in mind. We have some papers that talk about a little bit, and the preparedness essentials talks about things that you should have at your house that you need to have. And I don't see one here that really shows make a kit. Oh, it does. I make a kit, it tells you what you should have. So let's go right counting, and there's a couple of screens. Keep going. Okay. I'll just talk. All right. So I have a couple of things. One, I have my little thing that I travel with, and I keep it in here because I keep my money in here. I keep my toothbrush, my toothpaste, things that when I'm going in the bathroom, I can just take it with me. I also have my, just like some soap and some hand sanitizer in plastic bags. I take medication, so I have at least a week's worth of medication that I put in my things I have to take every day, I keep there. I have an extra pair of glasses because I can't read a thing without my glasses. I also have a poncho because you never know what the weather's gonna be. And so, you know, this one's really simple and it folds up and I can take it with me. I got it at Niagara Falls many years ago. I carry a little bit of food with me, just because if you're going to evacuate, most likely you're going to go to an evacuation site that the Red Cross is opening, or if it's really bad, we'll open a shelter. We do the evacuation sites first because we never know how many people are going to stay. If they evacuate 3,000 people, if we get 5% of those people, then that would be a big number for us. When we had the Davis fire, I don't think we had more than 6 people in the shelter at one time. Because most people will find friends to stay with. Most people will go to hotels. If it's a lower income area, we might have more people. But we always have food there. We have at the evacuation site, hopefully we'll have a TV up so you can hear the news and see what's going on. We will have snacks. We will bring in meals, so people have things. Always there's usually the animal control services is right there before us. So please don't hesitate to evacuate. If there is some reason and you're told to evacuate, take your animals with you. They will put them in a place that is right next to where you are. They have, at the Davis Fire, when we end up at this 9th Street Senior Center, they had a air-conditioned van with cages for the animals. And so they were more comfortable than some of us. Although some people said we're sleeping in the car with the animals, which they did. We fed them, but they decided to stay outside. So the evacuation site usually doesn't have showers and stuff. But if we have to turn it into a shelter, we always have a place that they'll have cots and a blanket and stuff. Okay? So we'll go through our slide first and then I'll finish talking. All right, go right ahead. Okay, so odds are the disaster will strike. It happens everywhere. What kind of disasters? You can go to the next one. What kind of hazards do you think we have here?
Fires.
Fires,
Floods.
floods,
Earthquake.
earthquakes. You know, if we have a major earthquake, that is going to be the biggest thing around here because there are places that are not structurally sound. It's going to close off roads. My parents lived in Northridge. My sister was telling me she went through 2 major earthquakes down there. And I can remember that they didn't have any water or power for a week. So they used their barbecue and they had water in the house and they had candles and things. So that's the kind of stuff we want you to be ready for. We don't have too many hurricanes. We might have a tornado, but it'd be more like a dust devil. We do have extreme heat, and they've been opening cooling shelters, especially down in Vegas. But even here, you know, people can get very sick from the heat. We have thunderstorms, and they've gotten much worse this past year. Landslides, if you live someplace where the hill could come down. As you were talking about Highland, as I pick up my granddaughter who lives up there, I think, boy, if that really gets wet, it's all going to be on Highland. Wildland fires. You know, this area is not so much, but they had one. My granddaughter moved up there on Highland, and the first week she was there, she was evacuated. So, because they had the fire on the backside of it. So you never know. Volcanoes, we don't have too many active ones around here, but again, you never know. Okay. Want to be ready. Do not count on receiving help. You should be able to take care of yourself for 3 days. So that is your goal. Just like with my parents in the Northridge earthquake, they needed to be able to stay in their house and be taken care of for at least 3 days. You know, people came around and brought water and stuff, but they had to, you know, have the stuff there. You want to be prepared for yourself, your household, your neighbors, and older people. Now, I qualify, and some of you qualify as the older people. Get to know your neighbors. If you don't know the person next door, make some brownies or make some cookies or something and go introduce yourself. My grandmother was 94 during the Northridge earthquake and her apartment complex collapsed down. Luckily, she wasn't injured, but her neighbors knew she was there by herself, so they took her out to the field, put her in a chair, knew my parents would come eventually when they could get out of the garage. And so, you know, but people took care of them. So you need to have that, that confidence to know someone knows you're there. Okay. Each of us can prepare, and preparing us helps us adapt to changes and be just ready for whatever's coming up. Okay. We want you to get a kit, make a plan, and be informed. So this is our kit that we have. Go ahead. So in a kit, a household kit supplies for 3 days, 2 weeks is even better. Okay. A to-go bag. That's a smaller one. That's just what I have in here. It's not going to have all the stuff I have in the house. I have bottles of water, 2 gallons per person per day for at least 3 days. You know, I've got the old soda bottles and stuff. I will warn you, if you use the milk containers, they leak after a while. So I would be careful about those. If you take medications, you do want medications. Somebody's hard of hearing. You want to make sure that they've got hearing aids that are close by and stuff. Okay. You should have a radio, some canned food in your house. And if you have canned food, what else do you need?
Can opener.
And what kind of can opener?
Manual.
Non-electric, right. If you, oh, I've got a can opener. Bottled water, first aid kit, medication, eyeglasses, okay. Health needs, you wanna make sure that you know. Pets and service animals, you know, you need to take food for your pets, you need to keep that in the place. So don't wait until you're down to, you know, quarter of a bag, and then think, well, I'll go to the store tomorrow, because tomorrow may not come. Okay, things that will give you something to do if you're sitting around waiting for things to happen. A book, pictures. We go out to schools and do presentations on emergency planning for them. And we talk about putting something that would give you comfort, like a stuffed animal. And I know that I've got on fires and I've given older people stuffed animals just because it's something to hold on to and to pet. It just makes you feel a little better. Okay, we want to know what disasters could happen here, so we talked about that. At work, you should have a to-go bag, or at least in your car. Same thing, water, walking shoes, things that you're gonna need if you have to get out, okay? In your vehicle, you should have water and food, especially with the winter coming up. You wanna make sure that when you travel, that you have a first aid kit, that you have a blanket, or a couple blankets in there, a fire extinguisher. You should also have flares and jumper cables and seasonal supplies. So think about if you got stuck somewhere, because you know this road out here is really bad, and you're stuck out there, you don't want to be stuck with less than a quarter of a tank of gas. I always suggest you should never be less than a half a tank of gas here in Nevada, because if we do have an earthquake, you might have to go someplace else. And so you need to have that, okay? Make a plan. Find out how everybody in your family, where they're gonna be, and their contacts. That's really, really important, is that you know how to get a hold of everybody. And we all say, oh, I have them on my phone. Well, what if your phone's not working? What if your phone gets lost in the fire or it's out of power? You need to have all of your contacts written down and in your to-go bag, also in your wallet. Now, I made a little card and I forgot to bring it in, but I just made it the size of a credit card. I put my medications on one side, and on the other side, I have all my emergency contacts. And then I just put thick tape on it, so it looks like it's laminated. I keep it in my wallet, and when I go to the doctors, I just plunk that down and they make a copy of all my medications and I don't have to write them down. But it's really important because I've been out on fires where people say, I need to call my daughter, but my phone was lost and they don't know how to get a hold of people. So please, for your children, for you, make sure that you know. Also, you want to know like your pet records. Keep those in your to-go bag. Any medication that you need. You should have, I have some little jump drives, flash drives that I've got copies of medication on or copies of my important papers on so that they're with me when I go. The other thing that's really important to do, take a photograph of your license, both sides. Make sure you can see all four corners because it's not a legal thing without all four corners showing. And then email it to yourself. Save it in the cloud if you do the cloud, but if you don't, make sure you email it to yourself because you can always get your email from somebody else's computer, okay? Same thing with everything in your house. Open every drawer, every cabinet, and take your video camera and slowly go around and just take pictures of everything in your house and then send that to your email or to your cloud. Because when the insurance company comes along and says, well, what'd you lose? You're not going to remember. And think of just the stuff in your kitchen. You know, if you have to replace spices and flour and sugar and pots and pans, it all adds up. And what reminds me, please have insurance. Renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance. Especially people that live in the trailers, they'll say, well, I paid for it. I'm so excited. I paid off my trailer. and they don't get insurance. And guess what? When there's a fire, you have nothing left. And if you're in a park, you have to pay space rent until it's taken away. And the last trailer that I helped a man take away in Carson City, $10,000 to get rid of the trailer. So please look into the insurance things. Renter's insurance, people go, I don't have that much stuff. You got more than you think you have. And it also, most insurances will give you some money to stay somewhere in the interim while you're trying to figure out what to do. So please go and look at it, okay? It's important to do. Okay. Know how to evacuate. I mean, that may sound crazy, but think about where you live and how you get out. Some of these new subdivisions, it's really hard to get out. So think of different ways that you could get out if you had to. How to communicate. Now, when the Northridge earthquake happened, my mother could not call my sister, who was about 5 miles away, but she could call me because I was up in Oregon, and I could call my sister, who was down in Los Angeles too, because the phone lines weren't, we were able to communicate that way. The towers get so crowded during a fire or an earthquake or whatever, that it's very hard to communicate close by, okay? So have a contact point that they can let you know where you're supposed, you know, who's doing what and where we're going. Think about, where are you planning on staying? Do you have friends? Like, I have family in Fallon. So if I had to, I could go to Fallon and camp on their floor or whatever, okay? Shelter in place. That's where you're gonna have the things that you're gonna need, your canned food, your flashlights, all that kind of stuff. And then practice your plan. One of the most important things that you need to do is, we have these little things, and if you want one, is practice a home fire safety evacuation plan. Especially if you have young children or grandchildren who come to visit, you want them to know how to get out, or visitors, and where you're going to meet. Now, this is something that was not stressed before, but if you go out the back door and your grandchild was out the front door, and then you go, oh, where's my grandchild? I don't know, oh, and you go back in, we don't want you to do that. So if you have a meeting place that's not very far, it might be the end of your driveway, at your next door neighbor's mailbox, something close by, not down the street, that you can get to safely until at least 2 people get there. And they can say, oh yeah, she was there, oh, she got out, everybody's out safe. Then one of you can go call the neighbor if you need to, okay? But do that, and then always practice that with the kids and stuff, and even old people. You know, we need to do that too. Okay. These are the communication cards. There are ones that, if you go on the Red Cross website, they have some, but like I say, I just made a really easy one that I typed on my computer. You can do the same thing, as long as you have them. You know, make them legible if you're just printing them, so you can read them, okay? Be informed. In my kit here, I have, I have a charger. So if my phone goes dead, I have one that's already charged. I have a first aid kit. I was looking for my, I have a radio, and I have cords. You know, all of my computer things and stuff all take different cords. And so I actually, the Nevada State thing gave me this cool thing that one of the things I went to. And it's got all different kinds of things on it. So I can plug it into different chargers, and I can then plug it into my phone or to my battery pack or my computer, whatever I need. So that's a really nice thing to have. Okay. If you are on oxygen, I believe you can call into the sheriff's department, or this, you guys are in the county, so probably the sheriff's department, and let them know that you are on oxygen, and they will make sure that they can help you. So you want to let those people know, you know. Also, if you are by yourself, especially an older person that lives by themselves and you don't have any family around, you can call I know the city of Sparks, you can call in and every day they call you at a certain time just to check on you and make sure you're okay. And I'm sure that they can do that up here too. Okay, that's a nice thing, or have a friend that does it. Cause I know I live alone and if I fell, no one would know. That's right. Okay. Emotional, you think about it. Unfortunately for the Red Cross right now, we don't have any disaster mental health volunteers. And so there is a thing called the Disaster Distress Helpline. You can call 988. When you call 988, they answer the suicide hotline. Well, the Disaster Distress Helpline is also the same thing. So don't feel like, oh, I'm not suicidal. But if you've had a fire or there's been an earthquake and it's overwhelming, it's a normal reaction to feel the loss, to grieve the loss, and to feel totally overwhelmed. So please call 988 if you need to talk to somebody 24/7. It's a national program. It's there for you. Okay. Signs of stress: not sleeping, eating too much or too little. Make sure that you drink water during the time of stress because we get dehydrated and that's not going to help anything. Okay. And, get the help you need. If you have a therapist or anybody that you already use, call them. That's what they're there for. Okay. Helping children cope. Now, we have two really cool programs that we can do in the schools. This one's called the Pillowcase Project. It's like 3rd grade through 5th grade. Unfortunately, they're doing away with it because we didn't get any more sponsors. But it talks about, we go out to the schools and we talk about learning about home safety, about what to do if an earthquake happens. We practice getting under tables. And then they have this really cool book to take home that shows them all the emergency things they should have. And it has the emergency cards that they just showed you a minute ago. I love this program. Now, I went out to the schools in Sun Valley last year. I left messages with principals, I emailed them, and not one school responded. So hopefully if you have grandchildren or children in it, talk to your principal and say, you know what, the Red Cross does this for free. It only takes an hour. It's a great program. We also have one for kindergarten through 2nd, which is called Prepare with Pedro. We read them a big book or we show it to them on a PowerPoint, and then they get a book to take home. Talks about checking your smoke detectors and having a meeting place. So these are great programs. And speaking of smoke detectors, we give away free smoke detectors. If your smoke detectors are more than 10 years old, even if they work and you change the batteries, the wiring starts disintegrating. So please, we give them away for free. We will come out, we will put them in, we will not wire them in. And if you have a 16-foot ceiling, we'll put it on the wall. Smoke detectors need to go up high because smoke rises. If you have a carbon monoxide, CO2 sensor, it should go down low. Do not buy, if you haven't bought one already, don't buy a combination one. Because one needs to be high and carbon dioxide or monoxide needs to be low. Okay, you can plug these in and test them once a month. You should test your smoke detectors. The new ones have 10-year batteries, so you don't have to change a battery. So there's papers back there if you didn't get one, and you can call and we'll come out. People speak Spanish, so if you need to have somebody Spanish speaking, we will do that for you. Okay. So the Pedro has all those. Emergency cards to carry with you. There's the free apps on, if you go into American Red Cross, there's lots of free apps. Then we have the Prepare with Pedro things. Okay. These are the things you should know. You have what disasters, what the household plan is, practice it, being prepared, and then anybody that knows first aid or CPR. The Red Cross does offer those classes, but they are not free because the people who teach them are independent instructors. But they're a very important thing to learn. We will come out though and do Be Red Cross Ready, CPR only, hands only. That doesn't cost you anything, and we can teach you how to do hands-only CPR. Okay? All right. Download the apps for yourself. There's also Smart 911 for Washoe County, which is a really good one to have because it tells you about alerts and things that you need to have. Is that the end? Thank you. Okay. So, any questions about any of that? Yes, ma'am.
I have a hardwired
Mm-hmm.
smoke detector.
Yes.
Does that have to be checked every?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Hardwired ones, you need to change the batteries twice a year, unless it's a 10-year one.
I didn't know they had batteries.
They do. They all have batteries in case your electric goes out. And, you know, mine are up high, so I have a
mine's
broom
on the
handle
ceiling.
and I can push on the broom handle. But again, we will come in, we won't take, if ours fits in your wired spot, and you've got some of those little wire caps, we will put them in the same place. If you don't, then we will put it next to it, so it doesn't look ugly or anything, but it's there safe. You should have one in every bedroom, or if not every bedroom, in a hall that's got all the bedrooms around it. If you have more than one floor, it should be on each floor. Do not put it in near the kitchen or where you take hot showers. I had one in Fallon when I lived out there, and it was right outside the bathroom door, and every time I took a hot shower and opened the door, the smoke detector went. Okay? All right. So in my bag, I have clothes. I have probably 2 sets of clothes. I have 1 set for winter, 1 set for summer. I have a couple pairs of underwear, a couple pairs of socks. I have some gloves, you know, because you just don't know, especially if we have an earthquake. You want to make sure that you have gloves or something when you're cleaning things up. I have some flip-flops. So if I have to go in the shower somewhere, I can wear the flip-flops. I have, I also have a tourniquet because I learned how to do tourniquet things. I have a friend of mine who passed away, unfortunately. She had in her to-go bag, she had water and she had a water bag. So water drops. So I just threw it in my kit. I have a hat, I have gloves, I have all kinds of cords. I have money. You need to carry in your wallet or in your to-go bag, you should have, or somewhere where you can get to it, small denominations of money. Don't have $200 bills, because if you have to go and get gas and you only need $10 worth, but you only have a $100 bill, that guy might say, well, if you want gas, give me the 100. I'm not making change. So if the ATMs go out, you know, you're out of luck. So make sure that you have some 5s, 10s, whatever that you think you're going to need to get you by. I also have, I have some plastic bags. I have a big black plastic bag, just in case I need to trash something or it's pouring outside and I can wear it as a raincoat. I have some tape. I have some, I have a book in here. I have flashlights. I have a couple of them that are the headlight ones, which are really good because if you have to get out because of a fire, you have to get low and go. And if you have to crawl on your hands and knees, it's hard to hold the flashlight and be crawling at the same time. So I put the little headlight on, you can see. Also, when it comes around to smoke detectors, if you know of anybody that is hard of hearing and they take off their hearing aids at night, we have bed shakers. And we will come and install them for free so that they will shake the person awake so they know to, you know. And if you have people in your family, like a baby or an older person, whose job is it to get them out? You know, we want to make sure. Also, do not go back in for your pets. I know pets are family. However, if you tell the fire department that your cat is in there or your dog is in there, if they're right with you, take them with you. But if they're not, do not go back looking for them. You tell the fire department they've got the equipment, and as long as it's safe, they're going to go in. Because your cat might have already gotten out, or your dog might have already gotten out, and they sense things before we do. Okay? So be really conscious of that. We don't wanna lose anybody because they've gone back into a building. I just dealt with a man down in Vegas, I do casework, which is follow-up after, fires and stuff. And he has second-degree burns, because he went back in looking for his dog. And the dog wasn't even in there. You know, the dog had already gotten out. So, you know, think about that. And, you know, there's stickers you can put on your window if you want to put those on there that says, you know, pets here or whatever. So different things like that. So I think that's most of the stuff I have in here that I would need. I can't think of anything else right this minute, but any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Carol Burns for the record, at the fire preparedness, meeting that we had recently, the gentleman had these little wind up,
Oh, I have a flashlights.
well, it's a good size, like a little.
Radio.
Oh, I have one, yes, I have one of those here. It's
Can
down
you
here.
tell the audience where they can get those?
Probably if you go on Amazon, you could probably,
This was given out by the.
oh, I don't know.
Anybody else?
Red Cross gave them out.
The Red Cross did?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, because I've never seen them for us. That
Yeah.
we've given them out.
REI or Shield will carry them in your camping stuff.
Yeah.
No, but they were giving these out, they had boxes of them, and of course, nobody came to the presentation, but.
I don't know that the Red Cross does
It's
that.
like a little, you wind up, it's like a little radio, do you hear
Yeah,
what's going on?
yeah.
And you crank it up and you can also charge it.
I have two things in my house. I have a lantern that you can crank. And so, you know, if you feel like you're really ambitious, you can crank it. You can get a solar one, which would be good. I also have the plug-in flashlights that if I plug them in, they charge. And then when the power goes out, they turn on, which was kind of nice. I think mine are so old, I probably had them for 25 years at least. I'm not sure they still do that, but you know, they're there and I know where they are. So you should have flashlights around your house so that they're in different places in case the power goes out and it's in the middle of the night or it's dark. You know, we want to be safe. Okay. Anything else? All right, well, thank you for letting me know. On the back table, I don't know if I have any more of these. And you have more people here than I thought there would be, but there's the Red Cross Be Ready. And there's these little cards if you want to make a thing, there's some pens back there. Preparedness essentials. And the ones about the fire, smoke detectors and the carbon monoxide. And, you know, things like that. So please, like I say, much rather talk to you now than at 2 in the morning, although I don't go out too much at 2 in the morning. I'm getting too old. All right, you guys have a good day.
Thank you.
Carol, thank you so much. Man, I thought I was prepared, not. I got a long way to go.
Well, yeah, we all do. You know, I think I'm prepared and I went through this and okay, yeah.
Well, thank you. We all really appreciate it. All right. Number 7, Neighborhood Development Hub. Alexander, do you have anything for us?
Thank you very much. Alexandra Wilson for the record. Just for this month, I don't have anything in regards to the development hub, but I did want to let you know, we did just post an opening for the Law Library Board of Trustees. It closes on Halloween, so if we're not trick or treating, apply to be on our board. We are looking for 1 attorney and 1 non-attorney for those positions. To serve on the law library. They have fun programs like Lawyer in the Library, where you get free legal advice or assistance. The librarians there are extremely helpful. They'll help you look up different codes for the cases that you're in, whether it's civil or criminal. But anyway, that is an opening that we just posted. And so if anyone's interested, please go online and apply, or you can ask me and I can show you how to do it. So that's it.
All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, we're to number 8. Commissioner Garcia, do you have anything to share with us?
I do.
Bet you read that.
Thank you so much for that presentation. That was wonderful. You guys hear me okay? All right, Mike, we start to get for the record. I do have a lot of updates, but I'm gonna talk fast. So first and foremost, thank you to Colleen Westlake, trustee of the school district, for being here, for your service. Good luck with your reelection. And you were absolutely correct that historically Sun Valley has been very underinvested in. I remember when I first started, about the cleanups we were gonna do out here, staff told me that the last organized attempt was looking fine in 99. 6 years ago, there was an effort out here to address the abandoned vehicles and to do a major cleanup. And so it's long overdue. We've done a lot in the last 3 years, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. So Sun Valley Boulevard. A quick update from RTC. As you know, we applied for the Protect grant that the CAB signed off on. But the federal government backdated it. So we had our application ready to go. We were asking for $40 million in gap funding. The total project is 80 million. The government backdated it. After Trump was elected, they kind of pushed pause on a lot of the grants that have historically been available. That was one of them. We do not have access to the Protect grant. So RTC just emailed me yesterday. We're looking at the Builds grant. It's not going to be as much. It's 25 million potentially if we qualify. So RTC still has it as their #1 priority, as I directed them to. Bill Thomas assured me he's going to keep looking, but as an $80 million project, because if you remember, it's the drainage that's costing so much for us to get the improvements and then to eventually take over the jurisdiction, to what Cindy was talking about earlier. So fingers crossed on that. Leon and 7th Street, the flashing lights. I wanted to tell you how that happened. A constituent reached out to me, sent me video after video. I would forward them to 311. I follow the same exact process you all do. On the last one, the crash was so bad. They have a camera pointing right at the intersection. The crash was so bad. It was during the morning. And I just couldn't imagine what would happen if there was 2 little kids walking to school. It was a bad wreck. And so I forwarded that video over to our roads department 311. And so that's how the flashers and everything are coming to be. So yeah, what we got at that intersection, flashing LED. We have stop ahead signs that you can see as you're pulling up. Actually, they're on the sides. So, and then there's markings, and they're also going to be removing branches. But we did collect enough data to show that there was a need for that intersection. So that's why those 311 complaints work, I'm telling you. And feel free to CC me on those 311. You can go 311, this is Carol Burns, just put Mike Lewis Garcia in the CC or PCC, so I can stay informed and I can help advocate for that. So the bank, Hedda, thank you so much for coming. She reached out after hearing about the letter that the CAB wrote together. You've been wonderful. Thank you for meeting with Amy and Veronica and anybody else from the advisory. Sorry, not Amy, Heidi. So thank you so much. We're looking for any creative solution. That grant or that bank parcel is not under the ownership of the Scalari's owner. Remember I told you guys about that, this little tiny carve out, First Interstate Bank owns it. So we don't have control over that property. We'll see what ends up happening with that, but it's really great to know that we have partners like you in the community that can help us find creative solutions. Scalari's, so as I mentioned last time, I did not know that Scalari's, was closing. I found out with all of you. And so I immediately reached out to the private property owner who lives in California, the property manager here. Fast forward, because thank you, Heidi, for going to talk to KUNR, Veronica for getting on the news. We've all been trying to get the word out. So I was able to finally get a hold of the corporate real estate office for Grocery Outlet. So they are interested in the property. So they're going to be taking a road trip out here. They're headquartered in California, but we do have a local representative that I've already met with, and it's looking very promising. So I emailed the the property manager here in Sun Valley, and she's very excited as well. So I'll keep you posted on that. Let's see. So there's two properties. Thank you, Ms. Burns. She gave me a heads up about 520 Carnes, which burnt down over a year ago and has since been taken over by squatters. It's gotten so bad. I drive by it and it's just terrible. We have a similar situation at 179 5th Street or 5th Ave. And that was, Tatiana Smith reached out to me about that property, and that's the one that Cynthia Smith also mentioned earlier. So the situation with these private properties are the owners are deceased. And it's complicated because there's not anybody that we can hold accountable for code enforcement. So yes, we hear there's an heir, a son at the Carnes or a daughter of the deceased at the 5th Ave, but code enforcement cannot put those, those fines or fees or anything against them. So here's what I'm gonna do. At the next BCC meeting, Board of County Commission meeting, I'm going to give direction to staff, district attorney's office, which I've already talked to you about this, and code enforcement to look at deeming these two parcels as public nuisances. You get them out of the private nuisance realm and make it public, because this is ridiculous. We have these properties that have been sitting like this deteriorating. Yes, the brother, Rob, came up from California, had everybody trespass from his, but all they did is literally pick up all the trailers and move to the next parcel, which is in between Rob's and Tatiana's. So I've been in close communication with Tatiana. She gives me updates, and it's gotten really, really challenging. I forget how many trailers she said she had, dogs, open fires. I've sent Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District out there to cruise by and look at the bonfires. It's really, really bad. So that I will be bringing forward to the Board of County Commissioners on Tuesday. This brings me into my next section. I'll hold your question. I'll come right back to it. Thank you. Sonia Butler, who is from Washoe County Sheriff's Office Hope Team. She's the homeless outreach person that she came and visited us a couple times. She contacted me last week, and we've got another serious issue happening in Sun Valley. I'm very concerned. I've already talked to the county manager's office and the district attorney about this, but we've identified 37 roadway parcels. So as you know, the lines in Sun Valley are it's called serial parceling. It's all checked up. So if this is your roadway, I may own this section, Heidi may own this section of road, and it's anything in that invisible line is private property. So folks have figured out that they can park things, store things, trash things, and nobody can be held accountable, just as in the same case as the deceased private property owners. It's a major issue. I'm gonna read off some of the roads you are familiar with, but there's little sections. I mean, they're teeny tiny little slivers, but we've got 37 of them located at Parker, Klondike, Gertie's, Courts, Stella, Mineral, Chocolate, 4th, Side Hill, Slope, 5th, and on and on. I have the whole spreadsheet. If you want to look at the APMs, I can go over them with you. But this is also in progress. It's going along with the public nuisance that we, as county commissioners, have control. We have the authority to deem something as a public nuisance. So that's an avenue I'm going to be exploring. Hopefully my colleagues are supportive of that. And I've already notified the chair. So advocating like heck for y'all out here. I live here too. I see it every day, and it's a problem that's existed for decades. And we're trying little by little to undo some of these systemic issues that we're having. But Carol, thank you so much for reaching out. These conversations, I'm telling you, 311, contacting me, that helps elevate these issues so that we can get them addressed. Question in back.
Sean McGrath for the record. You were saying some of these properties that are privately owned, people deceased, and there's heirs, but there's confusion who it is. Well, let's go to the property tax then. Are they paying property tax? If the property tax isn't being paid, should we county move forward and take those properties because property tax is being paid?
That's what this process will do.
Okay, great.
You read my mind. I know they're not paying property tax, and they haven't started the probate. And I'm trying to still figure out if there's a way to expedite the probate process. I don't know if there is, but I'm looking into that as well.
County just takes it.
a little revenue generator, right?
Well, they're doing it to seniors that can't afford to pay their taxes. I mean, how is it that we can, oh, sorry, Veronica Cortez, you know, good board. You know, I've seen seniors losing their houses and stuff because they can't pay the taxes, but then this homeless person or whatever, this squatter has this great place to live, you know, so. I know you're advocating for urban, you're doing a great job. We picked up that, you know, next to my property,
Stella.
so, yeah, so.
It's terrible.
You're doing great stuff and you do have the resources, so I think you're a great resource to go through. You know, when people come up with, we have squatters, talk to your county commissioner, that's what you're there for.
Yeah.
If you're not doing the job, election's coming up, right? You're doing a great job.
Thank you. And Heidi just reached out to me about some abandoned vehicles near her house. And I work really closely with Assemblywoman Heather Golding. She did pass that bill. Somebody in the Sun Valley GID highlighted a parcel. When I pulled up the map, I was like, oh shoot, that might be one of those tricky spots. So I stay in close communication with her, but just want to let you know I'm working on it. It's gonna take a lot of time, so I need you guys to be patient, but just know that it's at the top of my mind and I'm working really hard. You know how much I hate illegal dumping and clutter and all of this, you know, deterioration. It's the deterioration of quality of life in Sun Valley, so I'm not okay with it. All right, any other questions? All right, thanks.
Thanks for your names.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Anybody on the board have anything to say?
Me, hi, Veronica Cortez again. Oh, the microphone, it's not even a good one.
You don't need it.
I got this card in the mail. I don't know if anybody else got it. You know, we have stray dogs all over. So there's this number you can text. It says you can text either lost or found to 775-314-0787. So I guess I haven't used it, but you can text that number with a picture of the animal that's loose, and it's gonna go out to some sort of phone tree that's gonna let everybody know who's connected with the animal control or something. This animal has been found over here, or this dog was lost over here. So here's a new way so we can get those dogs, you know, off the streets. Again, the number 775-314-0787. You can either text lost or found, and then they'll direct you to the process on how to report those animals. So, you know, I'm an animal lover. That's all I got.
No, Eric? Everybody's so quiet. I just wanted to thank everybody for coming. I know Monday nights are new and different, and thank you for our guests, Ms. Wesley and Ms. Rodriguez. And I think Gail left. I do have one request. I'd like to ask of all of you and our board members. I want you to come up with ideas for our agenda by the tons, so that we have lots to choose from. So if anybody has any ideas, call me, email me, whatever. On the back table, every meeting I put out a form that's printed in green to get your attention with that on it too. Please, if you guys have something you want to hear on the agenda, a guest speaker, whatever, write it down and let me know. Because I can't get in here for you if I don't know what you want. So our two guests will stay after the meeting for a few minutes if anybody has anything else to say.
Oh, let's thank you to the bread. Sorry.
Right, I was gonna say what's next. Thank you for our little goodies and thank you for bringing them, Veronica. I appreciate it.
We eat the Jalisco Bakery.
Well, you brought them though. Kara?
Do you happen to remember who at the fire preparedness meeting had those little?
I thought it was the Red Cross that had those, but Gail said she didn't think so. So I don't know.
I can ask Kelly. I can ask Kelly for you.
Okay.
I'll ask Kelly.
Anyway, we don't have anything else. Does anybody else have any public comment before we close? All right, I need a motion for us to go home.
I'd love for us to go home.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. We adjourn. Any discussion?
Oh, no.
Let's vote. Bye.
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 Thank you all for coming.